I'm Hatter. This is the Sage, and
welcome to Whiskey Wednesday.
So, how was your week, sir?
Fantastic week. Long week. Had an interesting day today. My 22-year-old daughter had me, I taught her how to change brake pads today.
Nice.
On her car.
Here, let me get our monitor up over here so we can see.
She got herself right in there too, man. She got her hands all dirty and everything. The only thing she couldn't break the caliper, the bolts that hold the calipers on. I had to get the breaker bar for that. And
Jen's there. Hi, Jen. Jimmy Sherman is watching. Hi, Jimmy. He's a guy I went to school with also.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jen.
Way out north somewhere, up where you're from.
Oh, in the Great White North, huh?
Well, as we've said on a couple of the ads this week, we are actually expanding.
We're celebrating a birthday today.
We are. Before we get to that part, though, let's go ahead and preview a couple of things for the folks out here. We have our own dedicated Facebook page now. You can find the links from where we're running the event from tonight. We're eventually going to move all live operations over there as well. Plus,
probably in July.
Right.
Give it another month.
We have also opened a YouTube channel.
Yes, but we need 50 subscribers, so go subscribe.
Right. We need 50 subscribers to begin casting live from over there. You can find us over there at YouTube at Whiskey WED Live. So please go by there and subscribe, like, and follow our new Facebook page as well. Now for the reason for tonight's Whiskey Wednesday.
It's not like we need an excuse.
Right.
Another thing we should go over every week too is the overall theme.
Right.
The overall theme is what this is. It's to encourage people, yourself, to just enjoy time with a good friend of yours at least once a week. That's the real purpose. We've been getting together on Wednesdays for a long time now. And it used to be just over beers to start with, and it's migrated. Yeah, it was some sushi at one point. I mean.
I don't think I turned my mic on.
Oh. Are you blinking or are you?
No, I'm on now, though.
Oh.
Hello. Mariana Regis is watching. John Perkins is watching. Jen says, hey, Scott. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. So, the theme for tonight, our particular theme for tonight, we're doing a tribute to my mother, Carol Huggins Duncan. She was born May 29th, 1946 in Hapeville, Georgia. Actually, no, in Atlanta at Georgia Baptist Hospital. But anyway, maybe it was Crawford Long. I don't know.
Who knows?
Unfortunately, she's not here to tell me anymore. One of her all-time favorites was a classic, and that is Jack and Coke.
If I had $1 for every time I heard somebody, I had 2 jobs when I put myself through school. Well, I didn't really put myself through school, but I had 2 jobs while I was working in school, and one was a bartender and the other was working in a kitchen. And if I had $1 for every time I had somebody come up to the rail and order a Jack and Coke,
I'll have a Jack.
I could have put my whole all 3 of my kids through school.
I bet. It's definitely a popular one. I've heard it at bars through the years myself.
Ever since Jack came out to the market prior to Coca-Cola. So I think as soon as Coca-Cola came onto the market, it was like you were getting cocaine and alcohol at the same time.
Well, yeah.
So in the early 1900s.
Now, we didn't go quite that far back to the original Coca-Cola to go fully classic with this, but at our Sage's advice, we did pick up Mexican Coca-Cola. And I need to turn the volume down on the computer back here and get ours out of the freezer.
Oh, yes.
So, go ahead.
The reason for the Mexican Coke is, hey, that's the Coke. I mean, we're not exactly spring chickens. So that's the Coke that I remember having as a kid, real sugar Coke. And if you go buy Mexican Coke, which is what I mentioned last week, Michael, or 2 weeks ago? Last week. Go get that. If you're over 40, you'll probably sit there and go, now that's the Coke I remember.
Look at that.
So at any rate,
There's ice in the top of them there bottles.
Oh.
Ooh. Isn't that going to be good?
Yeah.
You think it'll spew?
No.
Okay.
So let's crack
That's
these.
all we need is to open up with a...
Let's crack these, and I'll tell you what, you grab the whiskey, I'll grab the
Alrighty.
bottle opener.
Pop that out of there. You want the jigger, or you want to just pour it by eye?
We'll do it by eye.
There you go.
Nope.
So my mom was a pretty simple person overall. A few of you know her. Let's see. I said dropped us out or something. Anyway,
No,
I see the live. I just don't see the chat anymore.
the cap.
Gotcha.
Hit it.
That's right. That's all right. We'll go without it for the moment. Anyway, my mom was a pretty simple person overall. She loved to party, and when she decided to party, this was her drink of choice right here. Now, later years, she went to Jack and Water, and I even mentioned on some of the things that you could use water tonight if you so choose. Some people either can't or don't like the sugar.
Well, the one thing that this does, if you're drinking this, it's going to mess with your blood glucose.
Oh, yeah.
The alcohol and the Coke.
Well, let's do this. By the way, these glasses actually came from my granddaddy's bar. Oh, there's not much room for it to come out.
No, there's nothing coming out.
I left them in the freezer a little too long.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, just had to clear that.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
These glasses came from my granddaddy's bar and are probably about as old as I am. They're actual old Coke glasses.
Well, here's to your mom.
Here's to Mama. Just a classic taste. It really is.
It is. You know, I mean, there's a reason why we keep making it the same way.
Right?
If anything, it's Coca-Cola that messed it up.
There we go. Now I've got our feed back down here. We have 2 viewers at the moment. But we will have all recasts on both of our different formats. They're going to be on the Facebook page and on YouTube. All previous Whiskey Wednesdays are available on YouTube right now. So again, just please, when you get a chance, go and subscribe. Again, that's at Whiskey WED Live over there. So I did put out there, Scott, that...
See how much of a retard I am? Jesus.
It happens, man. I think we had a party foul one other week, didn't we?
Yeah, the first week that we did this on Facebook, we kind of went at it that was a long time, and we were going at it prior to broadcast.
Yeah, we were kind of celebrating the...
We had our first guest, too.
At that point. Yeah, Buck Byard was on here with us.
Which I'm surprised he's not in the chat yet.
He'll be in there at some point.
Yeah, he will be.
We're down to one person. We lost somebody already.
Yeah, because they're not interested. Because we're 2 boring bald fucks. That's the problem.
So for those of you on the recast, though, I did put out there on some of the Hateville alumni pages today about doing this tribute to my mom. My mother was one of the first female drum majors at Hateville High School down just south of Atlanta in the 1961 and 1963 seasons for their marching band, who at the time were known as the Marching 100.
Because they had 100 kids?
Yeah. And they later
That's a pretty good sized band.
Yeah, and they later became the 100 plus and got quite a reputation. They played the Rose Bowl, the Gator Bowl.
Hot dog, man.
I don't know which. Maybe if somebody from Mama's group comes on here tonight, they can tell me. But either the Rose Bowl or the Gator Bowl, they got there based on film from when my mother was drum major, even though she wasn't drum major when they actually went. Like I said, she was drum major in the 61 and 63 seasons. So whatever they submitted for in the 61 season, they were accepted and went to go do the 62 year.
Oh, cool.
So I can't remember which one it is. And again, unfortunately. My mom's not here to tell me, and anybody else for that matter. But she either went to the Rose Bowl or the Gator Bowl. I believe it was the Gator Bowl. I'm not 100% positive of that. At some point, also, though, the Marching 100 Plus went to the Rose Bowl and marched in that parade.
In the parade, yeah.
And
They always, that's
huge.
that's a big, the granddaddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or it used to be anyway.
they still call it that. That's how they market it, the granddaddy of them all.
Right.
So, anyways, well, should we talk about what we're going to be doing upcoming?
Absolutely. I think that's where we should go next. Now that we've got our dedicated Facebook and YouTube channels, we can kind of get rolling with our real format. And Scott's kind of got our next few weeks planned out. He kind of previewed this for us a couple of weeks ago.
Last week, I think.
Yeah, last week. That's right.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to do a blind tasting. And we're going to, and it's between 4 very commonly found, easy to find bottles that are all under $30 in this market. In a lot of markets, they'll be closer to under $25.
Right.
Or even 1 or 2 of the things, because we haven't settled on all 4 bottles yet. Depends on what is available, and I'm hunting for one in particular.
Right.
If I find it, great. And that will be a bottle that's under $20 in a lot of markets. But I've seen blinds with that, and it does exceptionally well against some very well-known bourbons. And this is a bourbon blind that we're going to do. And then thereafter, what we're going to do, since we're going to have 4 brand new bottles of bourbon, well, Jimmy, and we've already featured another bottle that I want to use coming up.
Right.
We then are going to have 4 or 5 weeks worth of cocktails behind that and use those bourbons.
Those common
things, and then you can see, and we'll broadcast. We'll let you know, for example, next week we're going to do this cocktail X.
Right.
And we'll post the recipe. So if you want to have that cocktail with us, then you can do so.
And that is kind of the idea behind Whiskey Wednesday. We, like Scott said earlier, the idea is to get together with a friend once a week and do this. Well, we want you to get together with us and do this too. We don't want you just out there watching. We want you to have a drink with us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the purpose. I mean, we are watching the chat, and hopefully we can grow it to the point where we have some interaction.
Right.
The
plans that I've got overall for some of the production side of this are going to be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I've mentioned some of it to you, and I've even mentioned some of it on air. We plan to have eventually maybe even remote guests, not just live guests, but folks coming in from other states and stuff. Maybe even some live music at some point if I can get everything settled back here.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, we'll see where we'll see where it takes us.
Right. And that's exactly right. We're just kind of going with the flow so far here.
Yeah, well, we're creating the flow.
Right.
Speaking of flow, let's talk a little bit about Jack Daniel's.
Let's do so.
One of America's older distilleries is now owned by Brown-Forman. And, of course, the old number 7, I don't know if that's the original marker because I didn't do that research.
I'm not sure about that either, but I certainly know it's been
around
popular
since the 1800s. And, yeah, this is one of the top-selling whiskeys in America today.
Right.
What's interesting is, a lot of people don't realize, number one, that this is actually a bourbon. Okay, because it is aged in new American oak barrels, and it is more than 50% corn, 51% corn in its mash bill. And they don't even call it a bourbon because it's made in Tennessee, and they use a charcoal filtering process, which is a little different.
Right.
But I will tell you this: one of the things ever since the whiskey has become popular, since of course COVID caused everybody to go back inside, and what did we do? Well, we drank and had sex. Well, Jack Daniel's, I mean, as popular as this product is, they have actually, a lot of people in the whiskey world up until recently would look down upon this product and this product lineup. Well, I'll tell you, they have come out with some products now in the last 4 years that are just absolutely astoundingly good. Their single barrel proof picks, especially the rye, is, I know I like rye because I like this rye spice.
Right.
Michael, I know doesn't appreciate that as much as I do on his palate yet.
And I'll say not yet. I'm coming to appreciate some of the things that I've never even considered before.
Sure. This. Yeah, no. I remember the first time that I gave you the first high proof. Mm-hmm. The first high proof that I shared with Michael was Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, just their regular whiskey. Right. And it is, was it not tasty?
It was.
It was very tasty.
I was quite surprised.
Yes. I mean, it's bananas Foster. It's like you're right. Just, that's the rush on the palate. Now, they're known for having a banana flavor to their whiskey, but there was deep caramel and brown sugars and cream, and it was just really, that particular bottle that I have, because it comes from a single barrel, so that barrel
right.
was that flavor profile. But what was interesting is I watched Mike drink that, and it was like, because it was the first high proof whiskey that he ever has, and I think that barrel was 131.
I believe it was, yeah.
130.7 or something like that. And so I was like, now it's got a punch to it, and it was funny because I watched and he was just like,
whoa, right.
And if your palate's not used to that, and even though that I don't really like the proofs that I like barrel proofs, but that's like that even I'm not there yet. Now I know guys. You'll find them on YouTube. Some of the guys are just like, they love that super high proof. If you ask me, my proof point is I like that 100 to 110, 111. You get them right in there, and I'm pretty good now. A couple weeks ago we did Rare Breed, which is 116. That's right. A good proof point. I appreciate that proof point.
McKenna was, 100, right?
McKenna's 100. Right. And 100 proof point.
I think the other two we've done so far have been 80, because we've got Jack
this is 80,
and Ancient Age is also 80.
So, but it'll be interesting, too, next week going through the blind. We're going to have several different proof points.
Right.
And we'll have several different, not only distilleries, but all the distilleries are owned by somebody bigger than them. Right. Jack Daniel's is owned by Brown-Forman. We'll have a Brown-Forman product next week.
And Ancient Age is what Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
Which has some other pretty good whiskeys that I've come across so far.
Oh, yeah. The last, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row, the Buffalo Trace's George T. Stagg bottle, which is a barrel-proof product, but it is. I had a pour of it. It cost me $50 for a pour of it at a bar.
Wow.
In 22, and it was by far the best whiskey I've ever drank in my life.
Nice.
I mean, it was a gap. But I'll tell you this. Now, if you want something that's close, if you're like, well, what is he talking about? If you want to taste an extremely good whiskey, Jack Daniel's has come out with this year's version of a 12-year. They're 12 years. So it'll be a label simple like this, but there'll be a big number 12 in there. And I haven't found that bottle.
Wayne.
I have not found that bottle yet.
I can't wait to try that.
But it's supposed to be just absolutely nectar of the gods. So we'll find it. I'll buy it. If we run across it, we'll buy it, and we'll review it coming up.
Wayne, were your ears burning earlier? Because I was actually telling Scott about you a little bit earlier. This is the guy that I rode bikes with that I was telling you about.
Oh, hi Wayne. How you doing, man?
And then Penny went to high school with me in East Point.
Penny. So, I love that name.
So, I also went to high school in Hateville, where my mother went to high school, which was the person that we're we're toasting tonight with our Jack and Coke. Anybody else out there drinking a Jack and Coke with us tonight? I'm just curious.
Besides your mom?
Besides,
If she hasn't returned to the Earth plane, she's probably here with us.
Oh, yeah, she's with me all the time anyway. I mean, she really is, I was excited because that live video that I've got of my band playing Center Stage Theater in Atlanta?
Yes.
We had no audience that night. We were a class project for Art Institute of Atlanta. And at the very end of the performance, our crowd was allowed to applaud.
They did you had probably like 10 people.
And it's the one place that I can hear my mother's voice to this day. At the end of that, I can hear her go, woo! At the very end. So.
Now, you should also let them know the night before at the same venue. The place was packed to the gills because Tom Petty
played there the evening before that. But
so that gives you an idea.
Yep.
And the point for me making that point was it's not some 200-seat venue. I mean, it's a real venue. Right.
It's actually it's hard to tell from the stage viewpoint there, especially when it's empty, but which is a surreal experience itself. But I'd say it probably seated at least a couple of thousand.
That doesn't, I mean...
Because Omni was probably 10,000.
Yeah, I would
10
think...
10 to 15,000. Your normal large venue in a large city like that.
Yeah, I mean, where we play basketball and hockey and all the...
Exactly. And, Center Stage was just a concert venue. It was a little smaller, a little more intimate, but it was still a great place to see a show,
Yeah, no. Here. Good question. We've warned you we're on tangents.
Yes. We go this way and that way.
Smallest venue you've ever seen a big act. Let's not put plenty
in there. I've got another great one for you. The Tabernacle in Atlanta. It used to be the Atlanta Baptist Tabernacle Church.
And they turned it into
a concert venue, and guess who I got to see there?
Well, I could never.
Dream Theater.
Oh, wow.
On the Scenes from a Memory tour.
How many seats?
Hard to say there, too. I wish I knew this stuff. The Tabernacle is still an active venue, by the way. Aiden's favorite artist, LeVay, played there recently. The day after we were in Atlanta. Again, hard to say. Probably
3,000?
No,
2,000.
500.
Oh wow, that's really small.
I mean, we're talking. It used to be a church. I mean, so
okay.
The balcony, kind of goes around this way. I don't know how much of it they've rebuilt or anything, but I mean, it's kind of rickety. You can feel the people walking and the sound and the whole bit in the floor, or it used to be anyway.
That's actually kind of cool.
But it was a very cool place to see a show. And the opening act that night, the Dixie Dregs. Oh, my God. What a show.
Yeah.
The violin player from Kansas was a special guest that night.
Oh,
we
awesome.
ran into him at the ticket booth.
What, do you have something waiting for him at will call?
Well, they had to let him in there because it's a small venue.
Sure.
So he had to come up to the ticket booth to go, I'm here to play with the band.
That's crazy.
That's pretty
cool.
That's
smaller than me, I can tell you that.
What was yours? Dead air, Scott.
Yeah, I know. I had to think about that.
Good thing we're not on radio.
Yeah, that would have been the longest 10 seconds on air. My wife and I saw Kenny Loggins at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C., and that's probably about 2000.
So, but Jack Daniels, man, had to go back.
I think the smaller venue, though, and I can't remember the venue, that's what I was thinking about. Mm-hmm. We went to see, with some friends of ours, Joe Jackson. Remember Joe Jackson?
Oh, yeah.
Is she really going out with him?
Is she really going out with him? What was his other one?
He had a
Stepping
bunch.
Out.
Yeah, Stepping Out.
Yeah. Keyboard player, so yeah, I know him.
Yeah, Elizabeth. Well, that's why I figured you would remember him.
Yeah.
Elizabeth got tickets to that when she was working for the brewery, and
Scott got to see some really good shows over the years because of that connection.
Yeah, no, my wife, God bless her, before we had kids, she worked for the Miller Brewing Company, not a distributor, for the actual brewery itself. And she was located in Washington, D.C., and we had season tickets to the Orioles, season tickets to the Capitals, season tickets to the Redskins. And we saw every concert and that you name the artist, and we saw it at Merriweather Post or the Capitol Center or the new one that went downtown right before we moved, or the one out in Gainesville, Virginia was another big venue out there. I can't think of the name of it. I'll never forget. I saw the Cranberries at there, and it was one of the things that blew me away. Mm-hmm. We saw the Cranberries in probably 1993 when we were just, and I didn't realize this, but as they walked off stage, and I mean, that was a big Miller sponsored venue. Okay,
right.
They walked off stage right by us. I mean, literally from me to you away.
Right.
And I was shocked because I didn't realize that the oldest of that band at the time, of the four of them,
right,
was Dolores, and she was 18.
Oh, my God.
They were all 16, 17,
So these
18.
were a bunch of kids.
They were just kids. That's what I said. Oh, my God, they're just kids.
Yeah.
But yet here they had smash, huge rock and roll hits.
And some talent.
Oh, and some serious talent.
Because there's plenty of people out there who have songs on the airwaves. I have no talent whatsoever.
Yeah, but we don't. Nah,
we won't discuss that.
Yeah, I gotta go there. But yeah, no, absolutely. So, but Joe Jackson, we saw Joe Jackson at, I can't think of the name of it. It was a very small theater, probably under 1,000. No question about it. It was under 1,000.
Right.
And what was really interesting about that, because I mean, Joe was, if you don't know who Joe Jackson was clearly, I mean, at least I knew it going in. Elizabeth was a little shocked at first, but he was clearly a homosexual. Right. He made no bones about that. But he had such incredible talent.
Right.
I mean, he was an incredible piano player. And he wrote great music. He really had something to say.
He really had some good stuff. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that people won't recognize.
I think I'll join you on that.
Yes, please do.
Clear out
so
the bottom
like
of this.
Such a lush over here. Did you say I actually overboard there a little bit? So.
Hey, what did I text you? I think I'll have two.
Yep.
I knew that we would be drinking out of these glasses. Do you want some more ice?
No, I'm good with the ice there for the moment. But
yeah, that steals room.
Who can have only one Jack and Coke though? I mean,
no,
unless you get a double.
I was going to say, or you can have 4.
Right. Yeah, Jack is actually one of the ones that taught me the lesson.
Don't overdrink
of my limits. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Buddy Burnham. Hello. This is my nephew's dad.
Your nephew, the artist from...
No, another nephew. This is my sister Shay.
Oh, yeah.
Her ex.
Well, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Thank you for stopping in and watching tonight, man.
Yeah, I hope we don't bore the shit out of you.
Buddy, do you have a Jack and Coke with us? We're watching.
We are trying to we wish we had a monitor in the back and you could just feedback to us. We can answer your questions, right. Or you could tell us we're stupid because we are.
And we already know that. So it's
I'm not going to hide anything. I'm the dumbest ass you'll ever meet.
But I am working on improving our equipment a little bit here as far as that goes. We really want to expand this.
You know what, though? We've upgraded quite a bit.
Yeah, just since day one even.
Yes.
And it's nothing that's been too crazy even. I mean, I got, a tripod and a couple of microphones.
Yeah, but
sound a little bit better.
We sound a lot better than we did the first night we bucked. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had an echo in the room.
Yeah, because you call it the ambient. Yeah. Here, I'll just be totally honest. Our set, it probably looks pretty cool because of all the lights and art and everything back here. But
it's a 5 foot by 5 foot space.
Yeah, 5 by 7. Yeah, the 7 foot line is right here where my arm is right. So from that wall. So we're using a little 5x7 dining room area in my little apartment.
And what we're thinking about doing, and here you can tell us if this is a dumb idea, you think,
Right.
is we have a table that's a tall table that will kind of act as a bar, and then have two bar stools. So
Yeah,
it'll
just
be,
have-
and we can put
sit
stuff
right there in the center.
put the drinks that we're making. I think we'll do that. Let's try to do that
Let's
next
try to
week.
each do that
because we're going to
next
have
week, yeah.
8. Oh, I have an upgrade for us next week. I already got it.
All right.
We have 4 Glencairns, but now we have 8.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So we'll have matching glasses.
Correct.
Because my Glencairns weren't the same shape as yours.
Correct. That's,
They aren't technically Glencairns.
Yes, I know. I'm just an ass.
Hey, it works for me. I like the Glencairns.
Yeah. No, they're nice. You know.
Okay. Jack has taken effect. My speech is starting to...
Hasn't hit my bloodstream yet.
Thank you, buddy.
I had a big
Buddy
dinner.
said the set looked good.
Yeah, good.
It took me about 4 or 5 years to actually build this entire setup back here. It
Yeah,
looks
but that's not the appearance of it.
Yeah.
It's the 4 or 5 years took all the stuff that's really right behind me.
Right. Right. Yeah. The albums and stuff I had, some of the artwork is new in here. And as you see, and as you can tell, I'm a huge Rush fan for those of you that are watching.
Yeah, well, that's another
one of our
thing we're
tangents
kind of
there.
celebrating though tonight. Is
9 years ago, 5 days ago, we saw Rush for the last time together.
Yeah,
Scott
I'll never
joined
forget
me.
the day I was working, and he called me up out of the blue and he said, "Hey, what are you doing on May 24th?"
The 24th of May.
And I said, I got a feeling that I'm going to the Rush concert with you in Tampa. And he just started laughing.
Sure enough. And one very cool thing about that is that's the only date that's ever mentioned in a Rush song.
May 24th.
The 24th of May
You're
in
right.
Lakeside Park.
Yep.
And they very rarely play that live, and that night they played a clip of it. Not the entire thing, but they played a clip of it.
They played a small part of
the
it.
retrospective part at the very end. So that was pretty cool.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's unfortunate that they're still not with us.
Wayne Kelly is watching. Now, Wayne Kelly is the bass player that filled in for Mike Idson of Rough and Ready on the Center Stage video. Wayne, we were actually talking about the Center Stage video earlier. And last week we actually played a clip from that. I can't really get to it the way that we've got the bar set up tonight, so I can't play anything from that this evening. But
See, that's another reason for the bar.
Yeah, and we need a setup to where I can do all this extra media stuff that I want to do. Eventually, I'm going to have to upgrade this computer. One of the things that I want to do is actually do
which is another reason we need more subscribers to the YouTube channel.
Because we'd like to monetize this and actually do something. If you think that what we're doing here is worth other people seeing, help us out.
You got to realize
subscribe
again, what are we really doing here? We're just simply trying to encourage the world,
getting together with friends,
getting together with your friends to enjoy. It doesn't mean you have to drink. That's just something that we choose to do, is have an adult beverage.
Absolutely, you could
once
drink
a week
water
together.
While you're getting together.
But it's to sit there and enjoy a
Crystal
friendship.
Hack. Hello, thank you for watching.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're watching that because I'm too fucking. Now I'm 2 jacks in. So
Right. Well, plus you can't read it upside down because I've got it.
Well, I do have superpowers, but that's not one of them.
Not one of them. Right. Crystal, not much. We're just celebrating my mom, who is from Hateville, where you're from. Hateville, Georgia.
And it's her birthday. She
today,
would have been 78
years old today. My mom, Carol Huggins Duncan, was born in Atlanta in 1946. Interesting fact, 6 days before she was born, Truett Cathy opened the Dwarf Grill across the street from the Ford plant where my granddaddy worked.
And we're celebrating here. Just want to mention why the Jack Daniels, why the Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Real Coca-Cola, by the way, Mexican Coke made with real sugar.
Yes.
We're celebrating with Jack and Coke because that was Carol's favorite drink.
Right.
That was her rail drink.
Right. And Crystal, I don't know if you remember this at all. but my mom was drum major at Hateville High School in 1961 and 1963 marching seasons. I myself was in the Hateville High School marching band for 2 years in the, I believe it was 1981 and 82 marching seasons as the bass drummer. So yeah, that was my fun. I was the same year as Crystal's brother Robbie, and her husband John. So
well, it's funny because you're marketing so much of the stuff to Hateville people.
Well, yeah, I mean, and tonight had to be, with the...
Now, you'll notice that none of this stuff goes to my hometown people because I have a big chip on my shoulder for my hometown.
Oh, boy.
So.
Well, not yet anyway. I did plan to get to that point, but I figured...
If somebody tunes in from there, eventually they'll be like, look at that fucking bastard.
Well, we had two important dates in the first 4 weeks we were actually unveiling this, so that was kind of why I took that approach with Hayden.
No, that was the excuse. That was the excuse why we went live.
Yeah, the first one was the tribute to my grandfather, C.T. Tully Huggins from Hateville.
Which I think Michael in the back of his head has wanted to do this for a lot longer than I've known that he wanted to do
wait
this.
a minute. Hold on. You have no idea. First of all, I do have one question for you. Did you ever, in your life, think that you would be doing your own version of Wayne's World?
Yeah, no, I realize that is what it is.
That's basically what this is.
Yes.
I mean, this is in the old days. This would have been on a cable access channel.
Yeah, no, I recognized that right away. So. And that's what I told Elizabeth, which is another subject we're going to get to.
Altogether, right. Okay, so since I went on a tangent,
I got a sneaking suspicion that she's secretly on there somewhere.
Well, now, wait a minute. We've only got 3 viewers right now. We know that 2 of them are Buddy Burnham and Crystal.
She's watching it at work tomorrow then.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because we do have our own dedicated Facebook page and YouTube channel now. We're still learning this podcast thing. You have to circle back and hit things for people who have just come in. We do have a dedicated YouTube channel now that we hope to cast from soon. Please go subscribe at Whiskey WED Live on YouTube.
And we need in order to
cast
to live cast from there, you got to have 50 subscribers. And between the two of us, we don't have 50 made up emails yet. So,
right.
So we don't have 50
I've
subscribers.
got about 5, but
Yeah, okay. So that gives us a whopping total of 8.
Okay. Now, where was I going with that tangent before I went there?
What were we talking about? I don't even remember.
Oh, hell, I don't know. Crystal?
Here's the entertainment part for these people.
Right.
Is they can watch us drinking and start loosening up.
Well, not only that,
We're cheap dates.
But when we lose our track like that, then they might even be able to help put us back on track a little bit.
That's true.
So I believe somehow or other we were talking about Hateville to start out with.
Yes, and then I said I had a chip on my shoulder for my hometown.
For your hometown. And then we said C.T. Huggins, and that was the way we started the whole thing. So Whiskey Wednesday is really, and that's where I was going with this, we said we needed to recap again. It's about getting together with a friend once a week, whether it's a friend live in your hometown or right here with us each week. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's really fellowship, gathering.
Yeah, I mean, and for those of you that, a lot of you know Michael, don't know me. Michael and
I'm the promo guy over here.
Yeah. But Michael and I have known each other now for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I would say that we've known each other for 12 years, and probably 11 years and 11 months ago, we all of a sudden, both of us realized very close to the same time as, hey, this guy's kind of...
This guy's cool as hell.
We're from the same fucking tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Same tribe.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, here, one of the first conversations we had was talking about Rush Xanadu.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Well, he asked me, he says, "What's your favorite band?" And I had to stop and think about it, and my answer was Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about Led Zeppelin, and he said, "Well, what do you think about Rush?" And I just stopped walking. We were walking together at that point. I said, "Well, Rush is
Bored
just
as hell on the car lot, right?
Rush is just on another level."
Yeah, absolutely. And I stopped walking at that point, and I went, I like you.
Yeah, yeah, because that was the first concert I ever saw, but
Right.
I recognize when I listen to music, I listen to lyrics first, then I listen to time signature second, and
You talk about a band that has incredible
when
mastery of both
when
of
I
those,
got to
you know.
Rush, it was in the 1970s because I had a little AM/FM radio and WZMF. When I would listen to WZMF, I remember them playing Working Man, and I thought it was Zeppelin at first. I thought that was. I'm like, oh, does Zeppelin have a new single out? Do they have? I didn't know, and then they told me it was this band from Canada called Rush, and I was like, "Fuck, they're awesome!"
Right.
Yeah,
So I've got an early Rush story for you, and believe it or not, it caused the click to go back to where we were going before from that tangent. Remember I said I forgot what I was talking about? Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, my first memories of Rush, listening to 96 Rock in Atlanta, Georgia, right? I had this little transistor radio. My sister and I both got one of these one year. It had a cassette player and one speaker. It wasn't even a stereo. Right?
Okay.
But at night, I would stick it up under my pillow, and I would throw on 96 Rock.
At like volume 2.
Oh, yeah.
So
By the way, I don't know if I was a 12-year-old boy, all right? We had a DJ in Atlanta by the name of Mara Davis. Anybody out there remember Mara Davis from Atlanta? She had the smokiest, sexiest voice of any female DJ I've ever heard.
And she was probably 5 feet tall and 5 feet wide.
Oh, no. She's on Facebook, and she's not.
She's smoking? She's a cougar?
She's easy on the eyes.
Eye candy?
Yeah.
Still eye candy.
Yes.
Good for her.
So, anyway, the cog that put everything back into place made me think of old radio equipment and stuff like that. You were talking about, you probably wanted to do this a lot longer than what we've been doing, the podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you exactly how far this goes back. My grandmother and granddad used to live in Hapeville, right? So my mom was at work, my granddad was at work, and I would stay with my grandmother during the day. And would sit there and watch all the freaking soap operas with her, As the World Turns, Guiding Light, all that good kind of stuff, right? But to entertain me, she would get out some things from time to time and let me play around with them. One was a Viewmaster, you know. We had a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Little bitty one, not like you see in a professional recording one. Yeah, not a recording studio type, but just a little personal recording.
I understand. Little spools.
Little box, little spools, the whole
Yeah.
bit, right? And I used to record the Michael Childress show and interview my grandmother.
Well, that's way back.
Oh, we're
You're
talking
going deep.
We're talking 3 and 4 years old, brother. I wanted to be a weatherman in school. So yeah, I mean, weatherman, DJ. At one point, I wanted to be a DJ from 96 Rock. So yeah, in a way, I've always wanted to be kind of a personality, type thing.
Well, now's your opportunity.
Who cares about being famous?
See,
I just want to have some fun. Entertain some people.
You know what's funny is, and I know you know this, but they don't. It's not all it's knocked up to be. Because in my former life, I lived and worked in Washington D.C. area, and I was in the financial business, and I had a radio show.
Right.
Me and my business partner Rick Barney was his real name too, by the way. And we had a radio program on Bluebird Business Radio, and it was very good for our business, but it was also more trouble than it was worth.
Right. And see, I kind of get that. So I would much prefer to be able to do our own thing like this, where we have full control.
See, I
of
had
everything.
some
Chuck Talbert,
handcuffs.
another one from Hapeville. Thank you for tuning in today, Chuck.
Tell your friends, tell your enemies.
Yes.
Subscribe,
Go subscribe to our YouTube. At Whiskey WED Live. That's also our email address, by the way. whiskeywedlive@gmail.com. If you guys want to suggest a whiskey for us to try one night.
Or ask us to review a certain whiskey.
Ask us to review. Ask us to do a certain cocktail. Or just bullshit with us.
Yeah.
Feel free to email us.
Because we'll cover that.
Yeah.
We'll cover that stuff.
Exactly.
Especially, you know what, it is going to be better when we're standing.
Yep.
We're sitting on the bar stools. Yeah.
It'll feel better.
I'm just because we'll have a table that. So if we get emails, if we actually get one,
right? If we have more than 3 viewers at a time, which here with that I will say, yes, we see 3 on here right now, but my experience with this so far, watching the analytics and everything, we're getting more viewers than we're seeing right here. We're only seeing 3 at a time, but that might actually represent 12 or 13 people dropping in and out that we're missing.
So they're coming, they check us out,
right,
and go, it's too bald. I'm out of here.
This is boring.
And they only got fucking cheap Jack Daniels.
Right, it's a cheap Jack Daniels tonight.
Hey, no, but the purpose for the
Jack
Jack
to my mom.
It's a tribute.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I actually meant to have her picture on up here behind us. My mom was an absolutely beautiful redhead. I might be a little prejudiced on that, but
I never met her, so I couldn't tell you. You know,
but she was a beautiful personality too, very outgoing, but introverted at the same time. She was one of those people like me that could kind of put on a mask from time to time, but there were times she just wanted to be away from everybody.
Just stay away from me. Yeah, no, everybody needs alone time.
Yeah.
Man.
But, I mean, just a vivacious personality.
Well,
you know. I mean, hell, she led a whole band of 100 people out there strutting stuff, man.
That's not an introvert. I mean, I get the introvert part because I think you and I share that.
Yeah.
From time to time, I like my alone time too.
Yeah.
But our overall personality is not that.
Right. Now, I don't know if I've told you this about my mom before. Did I ever tell you she wanted to be a dancer?
On a pole or?
No, well, no. No, she wanted to be a serious dancer.
Yes, we crack each other's balls all the time.
Yes, all the time. But my mom graduated mid-60s, from high school. So one of her favorite productions was West Side Story.
I was going to say, like, on stage.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she, at one point, she became a interpretive dance teacher. And injured herself, and that's kind of what ended that whole thing.
Unfortunately.
She was doing a turn kick. She threw her leg out in front of her. It was supposed to turn to where the leg was behind her. She fell, shattered her kneecap. They ended up doing, the surgery that they did, they ended up pulling, Wayne Kelly says we need Crown. We can do Crown 1 week. I mean, they've even got different flavors now.
There is...
Betty's favorite, Crown Apple. Just mention it.
Tangent, Wayne.
Yes.
There's a concoction that has one of the crowns. I don't know which one, but if you mix it properly, you swear to God you're drinking Dr. Pepper.
Interesting. All right, we're going to have to look that up.
Yeah.
And see what we can do about
I'll go hunt that down, and we'll find that and we'll do that, Wayne.
Where was I with my mom there? What was I saying when I noticed that?
Shattered kneecap.
Shattered her kneecap. So that kind of shattered her whole dance career thing. I don't know if she ever wanted to be on stage, but she certainly enjoyed dancing and enjoyed teaching. So that kind of it shattered more than just her kneecap at that point. It shattered her dreams.
Wayne brings up an interesting point we need to do.
And let's roll back around.
Let's recap a little bit about where we're going. So at least Wayne will get where we're going.
Right.
One of the things that we got coming up is next week we are going to do a blind taste test of 4 different bourbons that are all under $30, readily available across the United States. Hell, these bourbons are, if I get the four that we already have one.
We already have three, actually, right?
Yes, we do.
We have three in possession.
We have
and
three
we're
in
looking for one.
possession. I'm trying to find one particular bottle that's under $20. That is, it's just one of the better value propositions in the bourbon market.
And by the way, just one quick aside: only one of these has been featured on Whiskey Wednesday so far.
And it was in a cocktail, too.
Right, it was in a cocktail that night.
Right. So, anyways, what we're going to do is then after we'll pick which one. Michael will pick his. I'll pick mine. We'll see if we're the same, not the same. We got the same palate.
Right.
As far as that's concerned, Mike's still learning a lot about this stuff. I've been drinking whiskey since I was 12. So
here, brother, I grew up on Coors Light and Jack Daniels. That's what I grew up on. So, yes, I'm still learning. At 54 years old, I'm still learning.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean,
no,
it doesn't make a difference.
It never hurts to expand your palate.
No, and you got a decent palate.
Thank you
For just getting out of the gate. You pick up on stuff. So, anyways, after that, we are going to then, because we already in a sense we have like about 100 bottles. Right.
That's mostly him, by the way. I live in an apartment. If I had that many bottles, I would not be able to move around in here.
But we're gonna have 4 bottles, and then we've already featured 2 bottles on here. I'm going to use one of those bottles because it's one of my favorite readily available bourbons that you can get at an extremely reasonable price for what it is.
Okay.
I'll feature that in one of the cocktails. So we'll have at least 5 weeks of different cocktails that we'll make, and we'll put out the recipe, what we're having in advance, so you can have one of those cocktails, and we'll give you what you need to get. And these are not going to be complicated. There's only one cocktail that's going to be complicated. Okay. But it's one of my absolute favorite cocktails, and if you make it with us, I know you're itching.
Let me acknowledge Paul Talbert right quick. Chuck Talbert, Paul Talbert. Also, Hateville. Hello, Paul. I actually ran into Paul. Well, not ran into. We went over to Daytona to actually see Paul one year when he and Jared Slayton were out here.
Awesome.
So we went over there and said hello to him and spent part of the day with him and everything. But anyway, go back to your thing, please, sir.
What was I saying?
That
shows you how short our fucking attention span is.
Hey, we both had heart attacks and been in comas for several days, so we have an excuse in that regard. No, but you were talking about where we were going with the whole thing in the 5 cocktails, or the 5 weeks of shows.
And I can even tell you, the cocktails we're going to make, we'll make a whiskey smash. Okay. Because that is a great summertime cocktail.
And you know what? That's the funny part. I was looking up summer cocktails today, just to see for ideas for after that.
It's one of the easiest cocktails to make. Very few ingredients. You can make it 2 different ways. You can make it what I would call the complicated way, which is you need a muddler or a smashing stick to smash lemons in the bottom of the shaker.
In it, right.
Or you can just use lemon juice.
Right. We'll go simple on most of these, so you guys won't have a bunch of equipment to work with us.
The second, we'll do a whiskey sour, because there's something cool.
With or without the egg whites?
With.
Okay.
Now here's something that people don't know. We'll do it with, because that's traditionally the way.
I've never had one with the egg whites.
You can substitute. I don't know what it's called, but it's got a name. The liquid that's in a can of chickpeas.
Okay.
That liquid that comes in that can.
Okay.
You can substitute that for the egg whites and still get the same effect.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess because of the starch. I mean, chickpeas are a legume, so.
Yes.
Right?
And there's protein and starch in there, much like there is in egg whites. But we're going to do an egg white.
By the way, this man is not only knowledgeable about alcohol, but he is a big foodie, too. So
it's probably the single biggest reason I had a heart attack.
Alice, behave back there.
Well, you whacked her.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to. Yes, this is Alice back here. I have not learned to play her yet, but I do plan to. With a little help from, hopefully, my buddy Lee Sanders up in Jasper, Georgia, who hopefully will be watching the recast tomorrow, because I was all over his ass about subscribing to YouTube.
Very good. I got to get people to subscribe to that shit
Yeah.
so we can get to 50.
Yeah. I was writing out Post-it notes for people to work.
I didn't. We'll get subscribers.
Yes. Anyway, before I knock Alice around back here, what was I saying? Here we go again.
You called me a foodie.
Oh, yes, he's a foodie. This man cooks incredible food. He actually gave me a couple of cooking lessons when I moved into the apartment here.
Yeah.
Not that I've applied them that much since then, so I may need some refreshers at some point.
We're not going to do food on this channel.
No, we're not. But I did figure that, maybe around the holidays, who's to say we can't throw in a couple of bar snacks?
You're crushing me.
Well, here, Christmas time.
I was about to go on a tangent. Christmas
time, the ancient age, eggnog, and homemade Chex Mix. Something like that. That might be a good thing. We're spitballing ideas at this point. So,
yeah,
you guys let us know.
We do this all the time, anyways.
Yeah. But
this is a typical conversation that we have. Whether we're here with you, which we'd rather be actually.
Yeah.
This is more fun than not that we weren't having fun.
Well, we always have fun. We keep each other laughing every time we're together.
That's true. Now, the only thing that's different when we were at Winn-Dixie, there was other people around us, so we would people watch and then comment and make each other laugh at that shit.
You're right.
There's a guy at Winn-Dixie that works at Winn-Dixie that I swear to God, we laughed so hard I almost peed myself.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the
Bitcoin guy.
The Bitcoin guy.
Cryptocurrency. Yeah.
There's a guy that I'm like, he's a doppelganger for it. And I was like, hey, Sam Bankman-Fried is so broke right now, he's got a job at Winn-Dixie. I still laugh about it. Because I know he's working right now.
And I know you guys, with this microphone, you can hear it. When I get really going over here, I sound like Muttley from the old cartoons. I will totally lose my breath and just be, lurching.
Too funny.
In place.
Too funny.
But Paul and Chuck, thank you very much for joining tonight. Especially you too, Wayne. I mean, hopefully at some point the rest of you will see some of Wayne's work. Wayne, I got to give props to Wayne right now about this. On that center stage tape, and you can see this on my personal YouTube. We've got some original song videos up there. Wayne was a fill-in bass player for us for a very important performance. We were asked to be the class project for Art Institute of Atlanta at a fairly decent-sized venue in Atlanta. And we had 2 weeks to prepare when we found out that our own bass player would not be able to make the show. He worked for tech support in a cellular company and was going to be out of town. And there was no way he would be able to make the gig. So the only way we could achieve this, and have a full professional production at a real venue with pro lighting, pro video, pro recording, the whole bit, was to get somebody to come in and fill in. And Wayne Kelly stepped in 2 weeks, learned 12 songs, 7 of them being original tunes that you don't hear on the radio.
So he was an accomplished bass player to start with.
He was
He knew how to play the bass.
A very, very good bass player. And let me say this also. He also bought his bass to play in that gig from me. At the time I worked at a musical instrument store. And he came in and bought this absolutely beautiful Peavey Millennium bass that was made of Hawaiian koa wood. And you've seen it in the video. It's absolutely beautiful.
It is nice.
Wayne says it was fun. Brother, it was more than fun. It was a lifetime experience right there. I mean, that was an experience of a lifetime for sure. That's one of the high points in my life, and I'm glad you were a part of it. So,
it's like the movie The Wonders. Their bass player left, and they had a substitute bass player that played with them on the television program that they were on. There you go. Maybe it's that. Maybe they got the idea from you.
Maybe they did. Maybe
This was that screenplay.
What, 1994, Wayne? Is that right? I'm pretty sure it was August of '94. That's what I've got on the YouTube stuff as a date, but I'm just kind of guessing at that. In all honesty, I tell you what, we've got. It's 9:30. We try to go for an hour.
We've been on for an hour.
Right. So we've actually, tonight, we actually hit our 8:30 mark for the first time ever.
Yes.
And we've been on for a full hour. I don't mind going a little long if you don't. We have until 10 o'clock for quiet time here at the apartment. So why not, in honor of my mom, who liked to party a little longer than normal.
It's fine with me.
All right.
Here, twist my arm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wayne says that's about right. Well, Wayne, we're fixing to show you on here. Do I have permission to show you on Whiskey Wednesday, sir? In the meantime, I'll be getting everything rounded up back here.
You know, this is the fastest freaking hour, and it seems to go faster every week.
It does. It does.
The first week, though, we went like an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 minutes, and we could have gone...
No, it was the second week, actually. Henry McKenna was the hour and 10 minutes, somewhere in there. I'll look on YouTube here and find out. How's that for a segue, sir? Look at here, YouTube, and we're on the Whiskey Wednesday channel right there. Now that is, by the way, at Whiskey WED Live. That's our handle on YouTube. You can go to our podcast right here and see that we have a little podcast playlist set up. And back over here, we have all the episodes. Tomorrow, we will post this one to go along with that.
And thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Really.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, we're like a newborn child in this project.
Right.
But it's been going on for a long time. Just not broadcast.
Right.
We've been doing this, not even before we were having it here even, for a very long time. So I'm glad you could join us. We're having fun. I hope you see that. And I hope you have some with us, especially coming up.
Yes.
Stick around next week. Next week's going to be an interesting project while Michael's getting his music up.
Yep.
And I can tell you what the bottles are going to be, with one exception. We're going to bring the Ancient Age, which is a Buffalo Trace product at 80 proof. We're going to have Maker's Mark, which is it's owned by Jim Beam Santori, which is a 90 proof product. We're going to have Old Forester 100, which is a Brown Forman product. And then the last bottle is either going to be Old Barton 100 proof bottle and bond or Wild Turkey 101. One of those two. If I can find in this market, Old Barton 100 is not very readily available. And that'll be the least expensive.
There's Wayne Kelly right there on the right side.
Right there now.
Yeah, there it is right there. Wayne, there you are, buddy. Do you ever think you'd be on your own version of Wayne's World?
Yes. We should have... Then maybe that could be how we open the show. Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
No, we'll call it...
The double W.
Right.
Whiskey Wednesday, Whiskey Wednesday, Whiskey Okay, we're just not right, just to let you know. Dude, just to
we should wear wigs.
Oh, yeah, because we're both bald as hell at this point.
Next week, I'm wearing a long-ass black-haired wig.
There you go. Yeah, I actually I did that at work one year. When I was working for the credit union, we had an 80s day for Halloween or whatever it was. And so I went in, you're going to love this, typical. I went in as myself.
Well, you are a
So-
scary motherfucker, so
Well,
on
no,
Halloween that's
no,
appropriate.
well, 80s, like I said. So I went in blue jeans with holes in the knees, a Levi jacket, a Rush shirt, and a mullet wig with a headband.
And you already said it was an 80s,
Hey, look, it kind of looks like that guy right there, actually.
an 80s theme. Since it was an 80s theme, he kept doing this all day long.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Kelly on the bass. A solo. 2 weeks, this man learned 12 songs to play with us. Proud of you still, Wayne, to this day. 30 years later. Wayne said he did watch the CD today. I actually found my copy of it recently, Wayne, and the versions that I've got on YouTube may be a little better video quality and audio quality than what you got on the DVD.
Did you run it through Reaper or?
I ran it through Reaper and cleaned it up a little bit. So, like I said, this might be a little better quality. For some of you that are watching, you may or may not know, as a musician, I actually had kind of started to build a home. Excuse me, a little bit of a home studio. Lost my breath. Forgot to take one.
That's scary. That scares me.
No, just
No. I know what you're telling me, but you know.
Yes, we have Wayne. Wayne, actually, I forgot about that. He says we've been in a couple of bands together. I had forgotten altogether that Wayne and I played together in another band.
This is Michael's favorite band. That's why.
This was the favorite band of every one that I was in. But Wayne actually came in and played with us. I believe, wasn't it the band with David Henson? I think we were called Red Handed at that time. I don't remember exactly the circumstance, but I do remember that's the first time I met Wayne. And then he was related to Jimmy and Mike from Rough and Ready.
Okay.
So we all lived in the same area there in Douglasville, Georgia. That was west of Atlanta. This is one of Jimmy Idson's songs right here. Jimmy, I'm going to make sure you watch the replay of this one. Because I don't see it out there. Yes, Wayne confirms that was Red Handed. That was with Greg Thomas on the drums, and I'm hoping that we can get Greg Thomas watching sometime too. I'm still friends with him on Facebook as well. But this is the performance I was talking about earlier, and that, for those of you that have either just joined or we haven't said it in a while, tonight we're having Jack and Coke in honor of my mom. And
Was her favorite drink?
it was her absolute
I didn't
favorite
know the
drink.
woman, but I know it was her favorite drink.
You know her through me, though. I mean, you've heard me
you
talk
know,
about her
so
enough over the years.
so much, yeah. And I know Michael and his mom are very close.
And so Wayne here on the bass, Wayne Kelly. At the very end of this DVD, you can actually hear my mom in the background. It's one of the only places that I've got that I have a recording of her voice. The two places that I've got her voice are both "woo" in the background.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, almost. Which, how many of you follow the current events and saw the stuff recently about him in Gainesville, Florida?
Yes.
Which is where we're broadcasting from. We talk a lot about Georgia because that's where I grew up, but we're in Gainesville, Florida. I don't think we've ever mentioned that. Does it really matter to them?
Well, you know, this is what I say about Gainesville, Florida. When people say, Gainesville, where exactly is that? I said, well, if your pinky finger is Key West, okay, and your right shoulder is Pensacola, it's about right there.
The armpit, right?
Because it's in the middle of the state.
Yeah, they actually call
Parts
it
of
the
it are-
heart of Florida.
Parts of it are below sea level. and
we have a lot of fucking alligators.
In the summertime, there is no ocean breeze here.
No.
It gets so freaking steamy hot and sticky and nasty.
My Atlanta people will appreciate this. Because of where Atlanta is set on that plateau, right below the mountains and just below South Georgia, above South Georgia and everything. Everything fucking sits in Atlanta. It's just like a bowl of humidity, right? Gainesville is very much like that.
Yes.
And you will see us in shorts here from
now until
from
till
probably
Christmas.
late April, mid to late April until after Christmas most times. Yeah. Here today,
I've gone years where I haven't wore pants.
It was over 90 today. I have no idea who in the hell that is, but we can't play stuff that we didn't put on there. Let's see.
That's YouTube misbehaving.
Yep, YouTube misbehaving, trying to play copyrighted stuff behind us.
Get us in trouble.
There's the old Whiskey Wednesday videos. Although this is not the correct channel to see our actual channel. Our real channel is at Whiskey WED Live. And we're going to switch account right there to Whiskey Wednesday. That is Whiskey Wednesday with Hatter and the Sage is the way that it's listed. Oh, look, it's looking at my channel now. Let's look at our channel. View your channel. So for the time being, all the content we have are the previous 3 episodes. Under the podcast link right here, you can see all 3 of those in chronological order. I'm still working with editing some of those, making some cuts here and there. I'm going to kind of trim them up a little bit just to
works for me.
Polish it a little bit.
We're still working on some production stuff.
And honestly,
we threw around some couple ideas.
Right. And I actually had this very cool animated thing that we did for the very first Whiskey Wednesday that I never got to play for you guys because of...
Well, we're trying to figure out, too, how to open the show with stuff like that.
Right.
So it gets us in our seats and then it fades into us.
Right. And actually do some real production out of it, you know. And I have something back here that will work.
We're putting this much effort into getting it to look that much better.
Right. Well, it's only because we have this much time to put into it.
Well, yeah, that much effort. Both of us do work for a living.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Anyway, it's at Whiskey WED Live is our channel there. We have no new subscribers so far. Since we've started this evening, we have 5 right now. We need 50 in order to live
45 to go?
Yep, 45 to go. Now here's...
So we'll simulcast.
Right. Well, what we'll be able to do is put the link on Facebook as an event. So they'll still be able to go at Wednesday at 8:30, click that, go to this.
Okay.
So that, for the time being, instead of simulcasting...
He knows all that shit, I don't.
And I'm still learning a lot of it, too. You know, once I can open up some of the software back here, if I can get my video card working right and everything, then we actually will be able to cut in stuff like that. I'll be able to do transitions.
Cool. It'll give us a chance to go take a pee, too.
Exactly. I have some pretty cool plans for some of that stuff, too. Think the same place that Wayne's World came from. Oh, you have a little bit of Coke left? I have a little bit of Coke left. I better not do any Jack Daniels. I've got to go drive again tomorrow. You do, too. Well, no, you're off tomorrow, aren't you?
I'm off tomorrow, but I got to drive home.
You got to drive home. So, it is, we're at about an hour and 15 minutes now, so I'd say that's a good one. Good evening. Whiskey Wednesday.
Thanks for showing up
with us.
Appreciate you.
We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Next week's going to be fun. Next week and we'll post this probably by, let's give us a cutoff.
Okay, let's say by Saturday night.
By Saturday night, I'll know the 4 bottles.
Okay.
I'll try to find it.
Now, here's what I would like to do. If we can get you guys that have watched tonight and are rewatching the broadcast to subscribe to our YouTube, we need 50 subscribers on YouTube to start casting from there. If we can do that, then we can run it just like we're doing right now and still put the link on Facebook and actually cast from our YouTube next week if we can get 50 subscribers by Sunday. So there's a challenge to our Whiskey Wednesday.
Because everybody's got at least 3 Gmail accounts.
What do we call these people?
There are
subscribers, fans, Whiskey Wednesdayites.
There are fellow drinkers.
Fellow drinkers. There you go.
Even if you're not drinking anything but water.
Our friends. Because what is Whiskey Wednesday about again?
Whiskey Wednesday is about getting together with good friends and enjoying the time together.
At least
because
once a week.
life is too fucking short.
That's right, and both you and I know that.
Yeah,
Because we almost
that's the
checked out.
purpose.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if we ever have merch, it'll say, because life's too fucking short.
Yep.
And it will say fucking on it.
Absolutely. Because we aren't bound by FCC regulations since we're just a podcast.
Right.
You guys have a great week. We'll see you again next Wednesday at 8:30.
Eastern
Eastern Daylight Time.